We always hear something about the bank's portfolio that is preparing to go to the market. I've talked about this specific topic for 1 year, and probably it's not the right time before summer, because the banks are continuing to depreciate the value of the buildings. I'm referring to leasing companies, banks, and probably from the beginning of the next year, the banks will be ready to launch some specific project where international investors, Italian and domestic investors, should put together their forces to build up something different, working on a selective approach. And in my opinion, there is no rooms for portfolio deals, very specific, but in my opinion, looking at the fundamental of real estate, at the different sectors of offices, retail, logistics, industrial, should be affiliated different portfolios, putting together and involving as much as possible the final investor of those assets. As I've mentioned before, there are huge investment capability in the Italian market from domestic investors. As Mr. Motter said, Cassa Depositi is putting on the table 1 billion euros, and pension funds and insurance companies have an investment power of up to 10 billions in the internal market. So the game is to fill this gap, taking the building, those portfolio from the actual situations, doing asset management, and then sell it to the final investor that probably will be domestic.
One specific aspect of the Italian market, which is always underestimated or misunderstood by foreign investors, we have a restructuring group here in London doing only distressed real estate, and they are as busy as you can be. They don't manage to get the same success in Italy, and you wonder why. It's very easy, because you don't go through a forced enforcement of mortgages in Italy. It takes years. You will never do this. In Italy, here in this country, as I understand, you do it from one day to the other, and then you hold the asset. It's not working in Italy this way. So whoever goes to banks and asks them, sell me that asset, it's the wrong approach. What you need to do, in my opinion, is, as you mentioned, there will be partnerships. The banks don't want to realize losses in Italy, and for some reason they don't have to, which is probably a question you should address. But anyway, so they hold them on their books as loans, and what they are looking for is partners who put in a little bit of equity, or maybe more equity, and are able to then replace the borrower. So the borrower exits and you have a new investor in it, putting more equity in it, and then it's a partnership where you agree on a concept how you can bring that asset back into the value position in which it used to be at the beginning.
That's the game.
And that's the game. I think then you look at the leasing companies, and the situation is different, because leasing companies own the assets. So these guys you could approach and ask them, would you want to sell it to me? They would still not want to do it because it means realizing losses, but there, at least from a legal perspective, you can talk to the right person. But I think the fundamental misunderstanding is that you go and you think, well, these banks, when will they finally sell those assets into the market? They will never do it, because they cannot.